For Such a Time as This is a small church residency program that was designed in response to the needs of Christ Church in times such as these. The program is designed to reach out to share the gospel, to make disciples, and to grow Christ Church deep and wide. The program lifts up God's call to serve where there is a need, and it's raising up a new generation of pastors who see themselves as missionaries serving in the United States. The program matches small churches who struggle to attract pastors to serve their rural, small town, or inner city communities with new seminary graduates seeking their first call who might not otherwise consider such a challenge. And so by surrounding these new pastors with a network of support, we can provide some guidance and companionship on the journey into ministry to help make them effective leaders.
I think that's one of the joys of the program, of the For Such a Time as This program for first call pastors, because that connection is there. I'm not on my own going into new territory and into a new career.
First call pastors, by definition, are encountering firsts all the time. The first time you have to preach after being up all night with a family, the first time you teach the book of Acts, all of those firsts are difficult the first time. The concept of For Such a Time as This is that there are monthly gatherings where you reflect on your experiences, but also engage in ongoing spiritual development and worship. It's helpful, I think, for all of us in ministry to have those kinds of experiences.
We have small churches dotting the landscape of the PCUSA, and many of them have the potential to reach out to new neighbors, to new immigrants, to people who haven't been touched by the gospel, or people who have just fallen away from the church over the years.
We are going out as missionaries to North Dakota, South Dakota, Missouri, Mississippi.
For the past 15 years, we have been without a full-time pastor. We have prayed that God would send us a full-time pastor who can help this church grow in faith and in numbers, and that we would find the necessary resources to support such an effort. For Such a Time as This represents an answer to our prayers.
The characteristics that we think are most important for this program, for those who participate and be effective, are first and foremost a deep faith in Jesus Christ, a passion for sharing the gospel to grow Christ Church deep and wide, and then humility, an openness to go where God needs them to serve, to learn from those with whom they will minister in those places, and appreciation for the unique characteristics of small church ministry.
It really didn't matter for me which state I might get a call from, because it's my first call, it's wide open, and I kept talking to myself that wherever calls come from, I'll be following the God's call.
So let us become a people of prayer, so that we might become witnesses for Christ in Holden and wherever we are.
Since Jason's been here, we almost reached 50 people and about 13, 14 kids now, and we're still growing.
I think we have many other congregations that if we could put a pastor in the place, resident, living there, the face of the church, day in and day out in the community, helping the congregation reach out and do the work that they know how to do and that they want to do, we would see a similar growth in other places.
Well, since I arrived as part of the For Such a Time as This program, when I first got there we had 4 teenagers. We now have about 15 kids on an average that come in, and that's just the little ones. So the church is growing, and the folks are they're excited. It's like they're re-energized. They knew who they were, but now they know where they're going, and they know what they're about, and they're all excited.
Many people started coming to say, I'm so glad that you're here, because we've been without a full-time pastor for almost 20 years. Now they were excited to have a full-time pastor who will be in the office, who will be visiting, who will be working with them. And it's also exciting for me, because I'm the first time pastor, so it's to have that connection between a church who's been longing for and praying for a pastor for so long, and myself also discerning my call for so long. So it was just beautiful.
We are so grateful for your generous support that has made this program possible. You've shared our vision that it will enable us to grow the church deep and wide for such a time as this.